You're on Facebook,
We are live on YouTube now,
I mean, YouTube.
guys. So YouTube's no problem. Just Facebook is an issue. So I'm gonna I'll introduce right now, and then I'm gonna, while you guys get started doing what you're doing, we will then get everything. Unless Jerome, do you want to, since we're having some technical difficulties, do you want to see if we can get this shared from our YouTube page to Facebook?
Sure.
Can you do that, or will I talk to Miss Lucia?
Yes.
Yeah, hello. Oh, look at that. There we are live. I see us. That's pretty cool. So, okay, well, this is our first time live on YouTube. We had issues with Facebook. Facebook did not want to, had a broken link and was not letting us load. So we said, you know what, we're going to go live on YouTube. This is a Certified Life Coach Institute, and we are here today with Lucia. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Lucia.
Hi, this is Lucia. I'm here actually in Miami. I just got my certification almost a month ago, but I didn't have the chance to participate. So today is my first time here practicing with all of you. And so just wish me luck.
And then up next, Jerome, do you want, I know you're busy, but do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hello, everybody. My name is Jerome. I'm excited to be back for another Tuesday live with you guys, and excited to help Lucia with the progression as a life coach here today.
So we're going to just sort of chat this through, Lucia and I, while Jerome gets us up and running on at least something on Facebook posted, because typically we have our people on Facebook. As soon as that is posted on Facebook, let me know, Jerome, and I will find that the link or what have you to it. And actually, while you're doing that, just bear with us for one quick second, guys, please, whilst I have it up on YouTube, so that way if there's any comments or anything that comes through on YouTube, I can monitor the chat there on YouTube. So hopefully we get some audience members to come over and visit us from Facebook, but we'll see. Okay, while we're doing that, so Lucia, you just took level 1 about a month ago, you said, right?
Yes, more or less.
And you wanted, how can we help you today? What do you want to work on today?
I would like to work on the exploration technique in the Go Learn, and specifically in the exploration section, because I think that I get stuck, having questions, and I know that it needs to take like around 20 minutes, but I can do it in a minute, the exploration part of it. So
okay, so let's talk let's talk that through really quick, because okay, so first let's back up a little bit. I want to explain what the Go Learn is. Go Learn, and I've got a little example here, is a tool that we use in our classes, and it sort of divvies up how to break up a session with a client. It starts with a G, which is in Go Learn, so it's an acronym. G is greet, and that's really about saying hello to your client. It takes up a small amount of time at the beginning of your session. Then we have ownership. That's when you check in with your client, sort of see how they've been doing over the last week, what's been going on. Layout, that is setting your session contract, pretty much. So that's asking your client, just like I did right now with Lucia, what do you want to work on today? How can we help you today? What can we do to serve you today? The secondary part to that, so I should ask this as well of you, Lucia, is how will you know when you feel comfortable with the Explorer? Like how will you know that we have completed that work and you feel comfortable with that Explorer, that E in Go Learn?
When I don't get stuck, when I'm asking the question to the client. If I ask the question to the client and I don't get stuck, and I feel that I need some questions, or I don't know how to proceed. It's just when I think that, I don't feel comfortable.
So you don't feel comfortable. Do you want to talk that through a little bit with me? Are you willing to?
Yeah, of course.
So when you're not feeling comfortable, what has to happen for you to feel comfortable in that situation? What does that look like?
Probably more than uncomfortable. It would be, the issue is that I know it need to last 20 minutes. So if I can ask all the questions and I finish in 3 minutes, it's because I didn't have enough questions to get information that I need to finalize that section or that part of the section. So that's it. It's not really uncomfortable. It's just that I know that it's something is missing, that I need to, work more on tools, or probably have the right questions, or
So what makes you feel as if you haven't completed that section? What is it that makes you feel like you are lacking in that? Because when you're working with your client, what is it about that E that doesn't feel complete to you?
it's basically the time that I'm taking it to do the exploration part of it, because I don't think that it would be successful if I can complete that in 5 minutes. I think that I will need to take more time to dig and dig more and get information that is going to help me to resolve the problem, or help, the person to find the truth.
How does your client feel in this situation? Are at the end of the E, are they feeling like they have gone deep enough? How does your client feel satisfied at the end of the E with the information they have shared?
They should be fine.
Well, and when you've done this in the past, how has that gone from the E to the,
when I did the exercises in the class, I realized that, the person said, oh, okay, that's fine. But deep inside, I don't think that, the person was completely satisfied with the therapy or the session.
did the clients tell you that they weren't satisfied?
No, they said, oh, okay, it's fine, okay, got it. But deep inside, I didn't think that, since we were like both practicing, it was more like to make me feel good, instead of giving me like, oh no, I think that you need to work on this area specifically. They didn't tell me that, but this is something that I didn't feel satisfied with what I did.
So if I may, what I'm hearing is that your client expressed to you that they were satisfied with the E, with the Explorer, but there's something in you that feels as though they were not, or that as if you are lacking in that section.
Yes.
Now, is it possible for you to know if the client was fully telling the truth or not telling the truth?
I cannot tell, but probably the body language is like, okay, that's fine. I think that the body language can tell you many things, and it wasn't like the aha moment. That's the part that I think that it was missing. The aha moment.
So you were hoping for an aha moment, is what you're saying. So you were hoping for a pow. Is it possible that maybe that you were laying seeds? Maybe this is the first steps. I'm going to rephrase that question. Is there any way you can fully know whether the impact that E could have had, really, truly, on your client?
Yeah, I think so.
How would you know that?
Because of the way they communicate, and how their expression, their body language.
Have you followed up with them at all?
No.
So this is something that I'm just going to take the coach hat off for a second. So this is something that that I think a lot of new coaches really are looking for, is they want a breakthrough every session, right? They want their clients to be blown away every session. But a lot of times, if your client's not ready, it's not going to happen. And that has nothing to do with you. And that has nothing to do with your Explorer. That has everything to do with where that client is in their space and where they are, and developing a trust and a relationship that they can slowly open up. And some people open up a lot more faster than others. Sometimes the breakthrough will happen not at all in a coaching session. It's just you're setting seeds, you're starting the ball rolling, you're starting to ask those questions. So I'm just going to say it's very unfair for you to hold yourself to that standard and expect that every session, because it's not going to happen. And that's why that follow-up is so important. So my next question for you then is, how can you feel like you've done your job if there isn't a breakthrough?
Whenever I do from 1 to 10, let's say I ask them how comfortable they feel that they're going to achieve their goal.
Okay. And then also there's another tool on this. It's the reassess, the R. Very important. It comes after action plan. But when you reassess, you ask them, how do you feel? Do you feel like we've accomplished your goal in this session today? Because that's really what is so key about the Go Learn is starting with that contract. What do you want to get out of this session? How do you know when you've gotten it? And then you reassess and you say, do you feel like we've accomplished that in this session? And that right then and there will tell you, and it allows your client, who you have to trust what they are saying to you. And even though, yes, we can dig deeper, but at the end of the day, we have to let them lead. And if they're not ready, and if they're not, then we have to just accept that, because that's really kind of you thinking that they're not telling you the truth is kind of like fixing. It's like, it's a little fix. It's like, it's assuming, but we just have to trust our clients, and we have to trust that they're going to share what they'll share when they're ready. And we can't force that or push that, because the moment we force it and push it, we're fixing at that point, right?
Exactly.
Does that make sense to you? Is there any other questions you have with regard to that? How do you feel about the E now?
I feel better.
You feel better?
Yeah, I will have to practice to see if I have the questions
So let's talk about that too. What in a perfect world, in your perfect coaching session, or just in any coaching session, really, what tools do you use? What tools do you feel comfortable using? What kind of questions do you use?
The question is like, when they start, of course, when I ask them what they would like to work on this week, and they tell me, okay, I would like to have less fear, for example, or just to not having fear. So I ask, can you tell me more? So I ask this question, tell me more, and just listen to them, or the trust. So I probably rephrase what they said, if I'm listening, if I understood what he wanted to say with trust, probably rephrase and see if I can understand them better, and probably get more information, or probably ask them how they feel about it.
So let's just do me a favor. I think this will, and then we'll do a session. We'll do a little mini session with you and Jerome. Talk me through the Go Learn. I just want you to give me your interpretation of each step of Go Learn.
Okay, is the greeting. So I have to greet the person first. Then I have to ask, if I have to congratulate the person of any achievement that they had on that week, and then start talking about what they would like to work on that week.
Now it's very important. I mean, so the connections that happen with each of these, they all kind of move into each other. So they don't exist independently. So when you do the greet, that's going to give you a feeling of your client and how they're doing and where they're at. The ownership is so important because that's when you're going to talk about what your previous plan was, what the goal was, and you're reassessing, or you're sort of figuring out where they're at, which is going to lead you directly into the layout. Because from that ownership, you're going to know if they have to, you're going to get a lot more information from that based on what they've worked on, where they are, how successful they are. And that O should move you right into your layout. And the layout is setting that contract. And then go ahead from there.
Okay, and then, after the layout is the exploration.
Well, first tell me what the layout is. Walk me through the layout.
So the layout is, making sure that I know what, just establish a contract, for that week, for that session.
And what two parts happen in establishing a contract?
I'm sorry?
What are the two parts of establishing the session contract?
Just asking them what they would like to work on that session.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a secondary part that this might help you with your E a little bit. It's
and
that.
What are the expectations?
Or how will they know when they have, how will they know when they have accomplished whatever that contract, So if you were to say, ask me, go ahead and ask me that question. Ask me what I want to work on today.
Yes. So, Brooke, what would you like to work on today?
I would like to work on my, I just need to get some more balance in my life. And so that would be the first section. And then what your follow-up would be.
How are you going to know that you achieve this goal on this session?
So how, and you can word it in their words too. How will you know when you have more balance in your life? What does that look like? Right. Okay. And then that will really start to guide that next right into explore. Right. And then you can also help your client think. I'm probably the worst example to do this with too, because I'm nonlinear. So like, I'm a difficult coach, difficult to be coached. So that's why that's so important, because I can say when you leave it up, I want more balance. That keeps it kind of still out here, right? But when I ask you, well, how does that look? What does that look like? How will you know when you have a plan to achieve balance? That takes this big idea of balance and it makes them narrow the focus down and bring it into a real world situation, right? So that's why that second part is so important, because I can say big ethereal, balance, but then I go, okay, well, how does that look? And that takes us into the real world, right? Mm-hmm. And so then now that you are in a real world situation and we have a real world plan or goal for the session, we can then start asking questions to get that plan going. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So then that'll lead us right into explore. And that's, keep walk me through explore.
So it would be, so tell me more about the balance that you would like to achieve.
So yeah, so you're going to start doing the open-ended questions and all of those and that. Okay. And then so I think we're good. I think we then reassess in next session. We've talked about that a little. Jerome, are you ready to do some coaching?
Ready to go. Yes.
Okay, so we don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to have you guys keep this to a 15-minute session. Lucia, okay. Do you have a way to track time to watch the clock? Because I'm going to leave it in your hands first.
Yes.
So.
If not, you can send me a text. No, just kidding.
No. That'd be holding your hand. I can't do that.
So how are you, Jerome?
I'm doing good today. Thank you for asking. Doing pretty good.
So is there something that we have to celebrate this week? Any achievements that you had this week?
Any achievements? Yes, I've actually, I've gotten back on track with my scheduling. As far as just something I'm comfortable with. These 2 weeks before this week, or I would say the week before last week, my schedule kind of got thrown off a bit, but this week or last week I was able to catch my footing, and then this week really hit that stride come Monday. So that's one good thing. I'm back on track with my preferred schedule, which is awesome.
Great. So What would you like to work this week?
Well, that's funny because I kind of want to contradict having a schedule that is something I'm comfortable with. What I want to work on this week is I'm interested in so my birthday is coming up in about 2 months, and I want to get in shape. And by that, I mean I want to put in just a little bit of muscle, and I am just curious in that realm as to how to proceed because I'm just so used to maintaining rather than actually uh, strengthening, which is kind of where I'm at right now.
So just let me know if I hear you well. So you're gonna work on your muscles this week?
I'd like to work on it. I'd like to implement it actually into my workout regimen more so than I actually do. As it stands right now, it's kind of just like I said, it's maintenance, just to make sure everything's working well and I'm feeling good still. But I think it's time for me. I want to start looking better too. So I kind of want to explore that, but I'm not sure I can fit that into my schedule. How to or where to begin actually.
So how is that look at this moment, you know?
So currently, where my schedule stands is I am working out in the morning, which, like I said, it's maintenance. It's just a couple miles, few miles if I have time, and then some very light lifting. And the difficulty right now, where I'm having trouble at least, is I don't really have weight that's heavy enough to really stress any of my muscles at all. It's kind of just like I said, it's maintenance. I'm equipped to maintain. Um, no gyms around me are open, unfortunately, because of coronavirus. So that's made it really difficult. I would like to, be able to have access to something that gives me the ability to lift heavier, but at the moment I don't have anything. So that's where I'm having my issues, exploring how to actually go ahead and proceed into a realm where I can start lifting heavier.
Good. And so how do you know that, or I'm sorry, um, do you explore any options of how you can find the weights that you need?
Yes, so there's one option that I've thought about that I've been pondering on is actually just going out and purchasing some heavier weights online, which is probably ideal because any other options, uh, there are gyms around, but too far for me to get to at the moment. They're not very they're not ideal as far as my scheduling is concerned with timing. Uh, Going 30-40 minutes to get to a gym that is actually open. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, as far as those are my two options. It's that, and then just coming to the fact that I have to fork over some cash for some heavier weights.
And from 1 to 10, being 1 the lowest and 10 the highest, how close to 10 or 1 are you in this moment in that range in achieving your goal?
Um, so this is something I've pondered for a little while. I think I've gotten really good at maintaining. After I graduated college, I wanted to slim down and make sure that I stayed in that range and felt good, and I think I'm there. So I would say like I'm about an 8 now, ready to transition from just maintenance to a little bit of strength training, more so than I'm used to now. So uh, I like to take exercise pretty seriously. So when it comes to implementing that next phase in that part of my life, as far as exercise is concerned, I want to take that serious as well. So about an 8, especially with the added motivation of the fact that my birthday is coming up, and I'm kind of choosing that as like a deadline almost, for me to see some type of progress that I'm comfortable and happy and excited with.
Why you didn't choose 7 or 6, 5?
Uh,
What did you do to have to be in 8?
so for 7, 6, and 5, I think that would be kind of just middling. That's just something that I think for me to be at a 7, 6, or 5, I wouldn't be currently I wouldn't currently have an exercise routine implemented into my schedule. So it's at an 8 right now because I know I want to continue working out. That's going to happen, but it's at an 8 because it's just I think it's that much easier for me to go ahead and shift because of the fact that I already have a routine implemented with the schedule. It's already exactly how I like it. I'm just interested in going one step further, which isn't very hard, I don't think, to get to if I get past whatever seems to be giving me difficulty, which I think at the moment is me just committing to purchasing some heavier weights seems to be, as we just described, seems to be the only option.
And, and tell me if so what I'm hearing is that you basically know you already have your plan
Mm-hmm.
to achieve your goal.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be your next steps?
Next step would be to ultimately to commit. I have to commit. Yeah, I think I have to really prioritize it. Make it something that isn't. Make it something that I can't just walk away today and still be thinking about it. Still be thinking about should I do it. I kind of by the end of the week want to walk away with some heavier weights in my Amazon shopping cart. That's where I want to be.
So do you know how many days are you planning to do it?
Well, once I actually go ahead and purchase heavier weights, I'm gonna potentially, hopefully, that'll be ongoing. That'll be an ongoing process with no end date. But I do have some sort of, like I said, deadline as far as just kind of assessing my progress. I'd like for my birthday, which is October 15th, wow, it's September already. So a month and a half.
Do you know the time that you're gonna put into this, whenever you get the weight?
Yeah, so
days?
yeah, definitely. So when it comes to my routine that I have right now, it's kind of just about an hour of cardio, and then we move into about 30 minutes of just, as I said, I have lighter weights, so lightweight training. So I would just swap that. It'd be 30 minutes, fit right into my schedule easily. I'm like I said, the only thing is committing. I've got to commit. The commitment is the issue here.
Great. So from 1 to 10 now, how comfortable are you in reaching your goal based on the plan that you just gave me?
Plan is there. It's the commitment level that I want to make sure is maxed out at a 10. I want to be at a 10. I want to commit 100%. So with the plan 10, definitely something I can implement 100%. But if you mix in, I think the other variable, which is commitment, I think we're at like I mentioned earlier, about an 8. An 8. I haven't fully reached that 10 on the commitment scale to lift up my 10 as far as just considering all the intangibles and actually throwing it into my schedule. I know it's possible. When I say a 10, as far as me being able to achieve it, I know the possibility of it is a 10, and I know how to do it. I know exactly how to do it. I just need to be at a level 10 of commitment, which honestly, I think the reason I haven't fully is because I'm on the fence about gyms opening back up, because then, I mean, I wouldn't want it to have wasted, money on heavier weights when gyms are going to open up. But then again, it seems like they're not opening up anytime soon. So I think understanding that, that kind of raises not my confidence, but my commitment level into actually going through with purchasing heavier weights for at-home use.
Good. So, see that, do I see you next time, next week at the same time?
You will see me next week at the same time. Hopefully, I have some bigger muscles.
You will, for sure. I don't have any doubt. Thank you, Jerome.
Thank you, Lucia. Oh, you're muted.
So let's take a moment and let's talk about that. And let's just, so this, I see, okay, so what was amazing is just by, how did you feel about that, Lucia? How did you feel before we go into?
I feel good.
How do you feel about the explore?
I was stuck in a moment, and it wasn't because he already gave me so many arguments and so many information that I didn't know what else to dig or to request, because I thought that I have so many tools that is like, okay, then I will go to the action plan. So
what are you thinking, or what are you listening fully when Jerome is speaking, or are you thinking about something else?
Probably thinking that what I'm going to ask.
So when you're coaching, are you in cooperative communication, right? Are you using that tool?
I try to use that, yeah.
If you're thinking of the next question, are you using that tool?
No, of course. That's why that I was thinking, yeah, what else I want to ask, because I was like thinking, oh my God, he already gave me all the information that I needed it. So, yep. So I got stuck.
So how can you, and what can you do to help yourself cooperatively communicate better in a session, so you're not worrying about the next question?
Just trust that I will be able to think about, to find another good question so that I can dig more.
And is it fair to say that if you feel like you need to trust, what can you do to make sure that you trust yourself?
Avoid thinking about my next.
Okay, so that's easily said, right? It's easy to say, like, I just won't do it. But what world does it need to be in what for you to just trust that you'll find that question?
Be in his world. Try to be in his world. Just focus on what he's saying 200%. And
what happens when you focus on what Jerome is saying and not on the next question?
I will have trust.
Anything else?
I will feel more connected to him. Probably it will give me the direction, or probably he's gonna feel that I'm there, listening, and I'm caring, even though I say nothing, but probably, that's what he needs, just to be able to see that I'm with him 100%.
And how about Jerome, on a scale of 1 to what's more important to you as a client, Jerome, to have somebody here listening 100%, or asking the right question?
I think in that particular scenario, just because I kind of wanted, I wanted some answers, I think asking the right question, I don't know. I do believe that they go hand in hand. I don't think you're asking the right questions if I don't believe that you're listening to me. So I think that invalidates your questions that you're asking. So with that logic being implemented, I think listening is more important.
So what do I mean? What does that tell us in all this, right?
I think you have to listen first and foremost, and then the rest comes.
The rest comes, right? Yeah. Because if you, it's trusting the process, right?
Correct.
And trusting the client and trusting that the client has all the answers. So if the client has all the answers and we just listen, we should be able to pretty naturally figure out what those questions are, right?
Exactly. I think if you focus too much on the questions, then just kind of like what you mentioned, you start taking away the power that the client has when it comes to finding their own answers, because you are essentially, in a way, looking for those answers before they even have started looking. So I think, yeah, with that being said, the listening is first and foremost extremely important. And then the rest kind of just, it comes along with it.
So Lucia, what can you do to ensure that you are listening first and being present first?
Just focus on the present moment. Mindfulness, practice mindfulness. And just be there. And I think that I'm very the type of person that like to memorize and have a structure, but sometimes, you know, I need to recreate myself in the way that, you know, instead of having like a fixed questions, you know, it's just go with the flow and just trust that that's going to, that I will reach the goal of the client by just listening and being there for them.
If I can say something.
Yeah.
So I think, Lucia, you kind of, and we kind of explored it a little bit earlier. It looks like you want to get, if you mentioned you want to get the aha out of the client in every session. I think that is something that also limits you from creating any type of progress at all, because you may be so concerned on that end goal that you haven't laid any of the road work yet to get there. And I think it's important to just let the road be made, and before you know it, you know, the end goal can show up sometimes without you even realizing it, because again, it's not your end goal, it'll be your client's end goal. So,
and that is, again, trusting the being in the process, right? That's exact, just being present. The most important thing you can do is be present and listen.
Thank you.
How do you feel about the exploring the E? How are you feeling about that today? Do you feel more
accomplished?
you feel yeah, you feel like you feel better? You feel more comfortable?
Yes, because I think that at the end, it's not about the goal, but the journey in life in general.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and it applies to this moment too, in everything we do.
Absolutely. How are you going to take that with you? So we know this knowledge, but it's really easy to get into our heads, right? It's really easy to get back up here and start thinking, oh no, I've got to have it done this way, this way, this way, this way. So what is a way that you can remember this moment, this to be mindful moment?
I will practice. I want to start practicing now. So that I will feel more comfortable too. So I think practice is going to give me it's going to be important for me. Just practice and dedicated time just to do a lot of exploration, and so that I can feel more comfortable, because practice, I think it's important.
And what are you practicing?
The exploration.
Okay. And how are you practicing it? What's the most important thing? What did we learn today?
Focusing on the client, you know, listening to the client 100% and just focusing and have that as a priority.
So how are you going to practice? My last few questions. What are you today, over the next week? how are you going to practice listening? What are you going to do that, to start practicing this new
I already
skill?
have people in mind that I'm gonna start coaching them. So I have friends, and I'm gonna tell them, like, give me just half hour of your time, and I will do some coaching with them.
Okay, so, and when are you going to contact them?
When?
Yeah.
Today.
Today? Okay, so you're going to talk to them today, so that way next week we can hear all about how you did with this practicing, right?
Yes, I will schedule, today for this week to see and set up time and do coaching with them.
Okay. All right. So we have a plan, right?
We have a plan.
Okay, amazing. Well, thank you for being on our live with us. We appreciate you being here. I enjoyed exploring the letter E with you. I feel like I'm on Sesame Street.
Thank you both of you. I really appreciate that. It was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. And Jerome, do you have anything you want to say?
I'm just glad that you're walking away with a smile on your face, and I'm glad that you already have some people in mind to practice with. And I think that was pretty good. You especially have the bookended outside of the E down pat. You know exactly how to manage that. That's awesome. And the rest just comes with practice, the E, obviously, which it seems like you're already getting a foot forward on. So I'm happy I could help. Thank you for allowing me to.
Thank you for your time. Thank you both.
And also, don't be afraid of silence either. So don't be afraid if you don't have that right question, and so you have to think for a moment. That's okay, because you never know. In that silence, when you're thinking and the client's thinking, all kinds of things can happen. So don't be afraid if you pause a little longer than you think, or that's okay. It's okay to be silent. You can be comfortable in silences, especially in coaching. So don't be afraid of that either. So thank you for being on here. It was awesome. I see more confidence in you. Like I see you're smiling bigger. It seems like you've got a little more, we've got a plan. So
I'm having a moment. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We will see everybody else back here next week. I don't know if we'll be on YouTube. Who knows? This could be something new. But to those of you watching on Facebook, anywhere you're watching, please leave comments, share. This is Certified Life Coach Institute. We have a 3-day course in which we teach people like Lucia how to be life coaches. And we'd love for you to check us out. It's certifiedlifecoachinstitute.com. Comment, share, like, all that good stuff. And by the way, this class is not just for life coaches. It's for people who want to learn how to communicate better. It's for everybody. It's a good life tool and skill to have. So thank you guys for watching, and have a wonderful week, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.